Oh, Martin, you got some explaining to do. And here I thought the Crips and Blood was the most dangerous feud of all time. Apparently not, because Disney and Martin Scorsese still seem to be the topic of conversation. A recent interview with Disney CEO Bob Iger said that he is arranging a meeting with Scorsese after his nasty Marvel comments. Now, for those of you who don't know who Martin Scorsese is, first off, you the problem. Second, he is a director of so many good films, including Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and the newest installment, The Irishman. Still haven't seen The Irishman. I was gonna watch it earlier this week until I found out it was almost 4 hours long. So, yeah, I got stuff to do, man. I got work in the morning. I'll watch a couple clips of it on YouTube and then just form my own opinion from there. But from what it's looking like, they are wanting Martin Scorsese to possibly consider directing one of their movies, an upcoming movie possibly. Bob Iger goes on to say in the interview, he says, if Marty Scorsese wants to be in the business of taking risks, all power to him. It doesn't mean that what we're doing isn't art. Now, you may be late to this and you're thinking, well, what did Martin Scorsese say that was so offensive to the people of Marvel?
The value? How do you say the value of a film that's like a theme park film, for example, the Marvel type pictures, where the theaters become amusement parks? That's a different experience, and it's not even. I was saying earlier, it's not cinema; it's something else. You know, whether you go for that or not, but it is something else, and we shouldn't be invaded by it. And so that's a big issue. That's a big issue, and we need the theater owners to step up for that. You see, to allow theaters to show films that are narrative films.
The problem I have with this situation, if you want to call it that, is Martin Scorsese has an opinion. He did not say that the movies are bad. He did not say that the people who watch the movies are brainless. All he just said was it wasn't his cup of tea. And yet, each and every interview that he has done as of recently has been addressing Marvel because everybody gets in their feelings over it. Folks are acting like Martin Scorsese pulled his best J. Cole fan impersonation. You have to have a certain level of intelligence to enjoy this. Go back to listening to your Lil Wayne, which there is validity to what he said, because if you look at like almost 9 out of the 10 movies that are in theaters right now, what do you usually see? You either see superhero movies, you see sequels, or you see reboots. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all of these are superheroes. And honestly, it's a little overwhelming because it's just like we have 6 different superhero movies coming out crammed together in 1 year. That's a bit much if you ask me. And the same people who complain about there not being, original ideas in Hollywood are the same people who go out and watch Infinity War 8 times. The reason why people go with these reboots and superhero movies is because we are familiar with the source material. We know what we're going to see when we go to a Spider-Man movie. We know what to expect if we go watch, the new Star Wars or the new Batman movie. We expect there to be fighting and action and lightsabers and web sling and all this type of stuff. But then when you see a movie like, Baby Driver, for example, people, are opposed to that and kind of hesitant to go near that because they don't know what it's about. They don't know if it's going to be good or bad, so they're not going to take the risk and spend money on an original piece of art. So in a way, is it really Hollywood's fault or is it us, the consumer's fault? Because Hollywood is just going off of what is making them money. So if we're spending a bunch of money watching superhero movies, guess what? They're going to keep cranking out superhero movies. It's kind of like the Popeye's chicken sandwich, right? Like, imagine when that chicken sandwich came out and all the hype and commotion that was behind it. Folks driving a car into the store like it's Boondocks and stabbing people like it's prison. Imagine after all the money they made off of that, and then they just decided, you know what? This is just a one and done thing, guys. We don't want to smoke with Chick-fil-A. We just gonna stop right here. We're done. Goodbye. That'd be almost stupid to their business. So they're gonna continue to pump out the stuff that works. If that sandwich did not go well, then they would discontinue it. So if we were so obsessed with having original content, then we would be spending our time investing our money and our dollars and our time and energy to go watch original films. And Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino are probably the two only exceptions because their track record of greatness is amazing. I'm saying, like, people are going to go watch a movie simply because it says directed by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Martin Scorsese, and they could have a no-name actor behind it. But the clout that they carry as directors, that's going to bring people in. That's enough to sell a movie right there. I remember when I went to go watch this movie called Knives Out a couple weeks ago, and as I was leaving the theater, the person I saw it with, I asked her, I'm like, well, what did you think about it? Did you like it? She told me that, well, it's okay. It's long. It's too long. I don't really like it. It's way too long. I looked up the screen time for this. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes, which honestly is not that long for a movie. So then I asked her, I said, well, what made it so long to you? Because it says it's only 2 hours and 10 minutes, but we can sit down and watch, Endgame, almost 3.5 hour movie. And honestly, she couldn't explain to me what the difference was that made it so long to her. And I came up with this theory. It's because we rely so much on fighting and CGI and explosions and spaceships shooting lasers and talking raccoons that when it's not there anymore, it's almost like we going through a withdrawal. We really don't know what to do with our attention. We all over the place. And then we start looking at our phone trying to find attention. We start seeing what the other person's doing trying to find attention. Instead of focusing on a movie right here that has a great story, even though it may not have any fighting in it, it's still good nonetheless. And I think that's where the problem begins. And I understand why this would be considered a quote-unquote amusement park. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to give you a good time. Nobody wants to go to freaking Six Flags and the rides suck. And that's kind of the same thing with a Marvel movie. There's almost an expectation that you have to rise to as far as that goes. Nobody is saying that your stuff sucks. You guys are focused on one person out of the millions of billions of people who watch these movies and adore these movies, and for some reason, you are just focused on what this one person has to say. Like, literally, you got people in places that around the world that I can't even pronounce who are doing the Wakanda Forever symbol. And we so concerned about what Martin Scorsese says? I wouldn't mind seeing him do an X-Men, though. Leo would be a really good Wolverine.